Chase Lee Hockey with the Blue Futon, and I watched my first Sundance movie premiere of Fire of Love. How is this love of fire? Is it worth your time, or is it cold like it is right now in Florida? I shouldn't be complaining. It's Florida. So, Fire of Love, what's it about? Well, it's a very simple premise for a documentary. There are two French volcanoists, Maurice and Katia Krafft. They love volcanoes to the bitter end. They're going to go to every single volcano and study it because they're scientists, and they're going to figure out what makes a volcano explode, what can they do for safety reasons, how can they warn people of stuff happening. And this is, I wouldn't say it's a long life work of what they're doing, but it just basically talks about when they first met and all the different volcanoes and what they're trying to do and what message were they trying to tell the world about volcanoes. So, is this a great documentary? Absolutely. First off, I actually got one of my Q&A questions asked to the director, which was, after making this documentary, did your perception of volcanoes or other natural disasters change? Little did I know is the director actually was scared of volcanoes when she was little, but doing this documentary, she figured out, the love of nature and everything like that and what the world actually is. So with this movie, what are some negatives and what are some positives? The negative, I didn't like the narrator. They did talk about in the Q&A why they want like a deadpan voice, but I wasn't a big fan of how it was narrated. I wanted a little bit more uppity, just information. It was, like I said, very deadpan. It kind of took me out of it for a little bit of I was like, okay, what's going on here? I want a little bit more. Give me some more energy. I want some more energy in this movie because we're watching explosive volcanoes. Glorious film about the actual footage of what we're watching with these volcanoes. And also a negative, I wouldn't say it's about the filmmaking, it's about the two people in general. This is what I find interesting about scientists and some people like this that are very cocky. Well, it was the verb cocky because, or I want to say cocky. Well, again, no, we're going to go cocky as well as where their mind is in general. For example, they talk about Mount St. Helens in this movie and how, explode crazy. They thought it was going to be maybe, I think, 7 to 8 kilometers, but it turned to 30 kilometers. People died, like 22 or 25 people died in that disaster. But the guy, when he saw it on screen, he was more mad that he couldn't be there to see the footage and see it explode. I guess I'm one of those people where I see a natural disaster, I'm not like, darn it, I can't see that explode. I think, holy shit, who died? What is going on? Like, tornadoes, hurricanes. And I just think of the aftermath of, I feel so sorry for those people. Not like, let's see what the eye of the hurricane looks like. I'm very mad I couldn't see it. So that kind of attitude of these people, they're very selfish. We'll go with that. They're very selfish in their ways. And it kind of slowly changes into when there's a volcano in Colombia that kills 25,000 people. And that's where their attitudes kind of change of like, holy shit, volcanoes are actually killing people in mass numbers. What can we do to help tell different countries that we need to take volcanoes seriously? When they explode, people will die. We need to give like a warning, kind of like a hurricane warning, tornado warning, and stuff like that. And it goes into that territory, which I find interesting when their attitudes kind of change, how they died in one of the volcanoes that happened in Japan. Guess they want to go a little bit closer, but boom, dead. They only give you a last picture, but you don't really know how they died. I'm guessing explosion happened, rock, they got swallowed up. That's all I really know. And the last thing about this, you could call it a negative, but what makes me think when watching a movie like this is we have scientists, right? We have COVID, everything like that, and everyone wants to trust the science, trust the science, trust the science. Science changes every day. We don't know what the future is going to bring. Just like Mount St. Helens, just like all these volcanoes happening, just like the tectonic plates underneath us, we don't know what's going to happen. These act of God scenarios. We don't know if this volcano is going to explode like they were saying. 8 kilometers. No, Mount St. Helens was over 30 kilometers, if I'm mistaken what the documentary was saying. So how the scientists want to study of like, this is going to happen. We don't know. And so that's the same with the volcano. They thought the last footage of the Japanese volcano was probably going to go one way. It went right to them. And different volcanoes have a curve where they're like, okay, we studied it, it's going this way. No, you really don't know what a volcano is going not to do. You really don't know how many strains of COVID there is, unless it's man-made in a lab in Wuhan. You don't know when a hurricane is going to go from a Cat 1 to a Cat 5. You can only predict what's going to happen in these natural disasters because we are humans. That is weather. We can't control it unless Roland makes another moonfall that controls the weather. But overall, Fire of Love is a great documentary, great visuals. It stays its welcome. It's only an hour and 33 minutes. I enjoyed it for what it was. Yeah, some flaws, the deadpan tone of the narrator, and I guess I wish there was a little bit more information about volcanoes and what they're doing kind of in the background, because a lot of it did talk about them doing talk shows and stuff like that. There was a fantastic scene about acid and lake, and that kind of like kept me tense, like, oh, what's going to happen? But man, the footage is all inspiring. It's greatly edited. I enjoy this movie for what it is. And overall, volcanoes are not to be messed with. Just, we don't know. Anyway, Fire of Love will receive a 4.5 out of 5 with Futons because at 90%. So let's see the critics' news scores gave this one. Ha, JK, there is no critics or user scores because this is the first time anyone's ever seen this movie. I think so, except, the editors and everything. But overall, mine 90%. Have you seen Fire of Love? Were you one of the Sundance people watching it online? Let me know what you think of the movie. But overall, I still got tonight, The Worst Person in the World at 10:45 and Fresh at 12:55 a.m. Whew. And then I'll go to bed around 3 and then wake up around 7:30 for 8 o'clock work. Luckily it's teleworking, and after Yang at noon, trying to fall asleep, and another movie at like 9, and then another 12:55. Anyway, Chase the Hugger with the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about Futon Utopia. You Blue Futonians. Thank you for watching and have a great day. And I'm gonna rank these in order, like overall Sundance as a whole, even though like this is in the documentary category, and the only other documentary I'm watching is We Met in VR. And honestly, I'm 100% sure this is gonna be better than We Met in VR. But hey, thank you for watching. Let's get that 600 subscribers before Sundance is done. I trust you guys.